So I've done a new experiment, and this one might have the weirdest results that I have seen yet. I have released every single player from every single club. They are all now clubless. Every club has no players. Every player has to go find a new club. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to bring this to you from a few different points. We're going to start off at the start save just to show you what the database looks like when every club has no players. And then we'll look at the end of the first transfer window, the end of January, the end of the first season. I've only seen the end of the first season and it's already pretty crazy. We're going to go through the rest of the seasons together. I've done 10 seasons of this and we're going to have a look at them and see what really happens in this save because it's some weird stuff. So here we are. I'm just going to show you, for example, the Premier League. This is Arsenal. Of course, they have a whole load of greyed out players, but they should have also, if I can click on it, no under 21s, no under 18s as well. You'll see that there are all just greyed out players. In fact, I think it just, so if I go to all players, that is their entire squad. We go to Aston Villa, the same, Bournemouth, Brentford. You'll see these are all just blank teams. There are one or two exceptions, and I don't know why, and I can't work it out. So, for example, Jean-Philippe Gbamin has stayed at Everton. In the editor file, he's removed from Everton. There must be something that's still keeping him at the team. There are a few small exceptions. I think he's the only real one in the Premier League. We've got Oscar Kelly at Liverpool, but he's a relatively minor player. We've got Matt Macy. We've got a couple at Luton, but not very many. I don't know what's caused that. I went in and tried to see if I could work out what was doing it. Couldn't work it out. So bear in mind there are, but you can see most teams and most players have been released. I'll go to the other leagues as well. Let's go have a look at Serie A, for example. If I go to Juventus, I know, for example, Mohamed Mkhitaryan equally, for some reason, hasn't left the team. But every other team, pretty much every player, you can see there are one or two, often young players that they've managed to keep hold of. Everything else is pretty much a player that's has been removed. So this is the Serie A. You can see every player. You want to see some of the other big teams. Real Madrid should have no players as well, for example. Equally, it's also removed things like future transfers. So you can see, for example, here, Endrick is no longer going to be moving to Real Madrid, and he actually has a look in with Norwich and Almira. So we're right at the start here. All the teams are blank. So I'm going to go forward. We're going to go look forward to the end of the first transfer window and see who everyone's picked up. Now, in theory, every single player is a free transfer. So this should be great for clubs. They don't have to spend any money and they can pick up who they like. I don't think the game quite worked that way, and you will see why. So I'm at the end of the first transfer window, and I mean, we can already go have a look at some of the leagues. For example, Barcelona losing to Granada. You can see some things are already starting to go a bit crazy. Real Madrid, Atletico top in La Liga. Let's go look at the Premier League though. You see Spurs are top, Burnley are second, Liverpool third, Brighton, Man City. Down near the bottom here, Arsenal, Man United, Wolves and Everton. Let's go have a look at some of these teams. I'll go through all the Premier League teams at the end of this first window. You can sort of have a look at some of the key players that they have. I mean, look at this. Player stats, goals. Jeremy Doku, 5 for Spurs. But Luis Suarez at Burnley, 4 goals for Burnley. Christian Pulisic, 4 goals for Spurs. The best player for Liverpool, the best player in the league is Kieran Trippier at Liverpool. It's already starting to look a bit weird. Let's go look at Spurs. You see, they haven't actually picked up that many, and this is a real problem. A lot of the teams haven't picked up enough players. Now they have got longer to pick up free transfers, so that is in their advantage. But you would have thought the matches are already being played. They would have picked up more players. This is Spurs, for example: Doku, Pulisic, Rodrigo de Paul, Rico Lewis, Aaron Ramsdale. I think they've picked up. I mean, Ramsdale doing the unthinkable, crossing the divide. I mean, maybe he's annoyed enough at Arsenal in real life right now that he would actually do that. But yeah, this is West Ham, Merritt, Simican, Nico Williams, Gaorquez in there. We've got Wolves. Wolves actually haven't picked up anyone, which might explain why they're in 19th. Bournemouth have picked up a lot of players, and I expect Bournemouth to do quite well. They're currently 12th, but they did pick up Edison Cavani, for example, at 36 years old. Other players they're looking at, they've picked up Devin Wrench, Juan Cuoto, so they've picked up some all right players. Lucas Moura in there. Arsenal have not picked up many players again, probably why they're down in 17th. Diogo Costa, the goalkeeper, Yves Bissouma, and Pepe. And Fabianski has made his return to Arsenal as well. They've actually picked up 2 goalkeepers and a very old defender. I mean, Pepe looks solid still for 40 years old. He's 40. For 40 years old, he looks great. So yeah, like Pepe is a good pickup, but like there's a reason they're down in 17th. This is Villa. Not many. I mean, I don't know who any of these are. 3 goalkeepers also they picked up, which doesn't really help them. I'm surprised they're in 11th. Brentford in 15th. Some players they're best not to talk about, but Abde they've picked up, Rui Silva, Christensen. Brighton 4th. And you can see why. Look how many players they picked up. Montoya, Bella Kocha. Actually, isn't Montoya there now? Is it the other Montoya? Is a different Montoya. Hofler, Abala. Like, they've actually built a bit of a team. Tomori in there and Otamendi. This is Burnley, and you can see this is why Burnley are second, because Burnley realised they have to pick up players on a free. I wonder if there's something built into the game that means that teams won't. If teams are at a certain level, they're not going to look at the free transfers, whereas someone like Burnley will. I mean, look at this. Nubel in goal, Aaron's Kea, Colwell and Christensen in defence, Lavia defensive midfield, Harvey Elliott and Kobe Manu in midfield, Solly March, Jonathan David and Luis Suarez up top. Susic, Moretti, Zawaleski on the bench, Patrick Wimmer on the bench. Like, there's some really good players, and there's no wonder that they're second with the squad that they managed to assemble. This is Chelsea, down in 13th, just 4 players, Sebastian Coates, Tommy Asu, switching from Arsenal to Chelsea. This is Palace, Ostergaard, Baronestia, like 9th. They've picked up some more players. Everton down in 20th. They didn't pick up. They've still got Gabamin. I mean, they basically had a free head start by keeping Gabamin, and they've not picked up a single player. You can see their transfer history is 0. This is Fulham up in 14th. Sinistera, not a bad pickup. James Milner making his, I don't know how many clubs that is for him. It's got to be a few, but making the switch to Fulham. Minguez. I mean, I could actually see that happening in real life. James Milner doing another season and it being at Fulham. He's not bad either at 37. This is Liverpool. Trubin, Vivian, Parisi. Like, they're in 3rd. I'm actually surprised they're in 3rd. But Kieran Trippier is putting in some amazing performance. He looks pretty good too. But like, they've replaced Trent Alexander-Arnold with Kieran Trippier, and he's got a 7.83 average. João Neves as well, 7.44, 7.68 for Cheat Doucouré. Like, these are good. These are good ratings for these players. Luton Town up in 7th. They've picked up some all right players. I mean, they haven't got quite the pulling power of obviously the bigger clubs. Manchester City, it is an international break, so all their players away. Manchester City up in 5th. They've picked up some decent players. Raya has gone there. Emerson Royale, Konate, Gueye, Botman. So they've actually assembled a team. I imagine near the end of the season, they're going to be up there or around it. Manchester United struggling down in 18th. They picked up 2 really good centre-backs in Kim and Milan Skriniar. These are often popular pickups in the game. Ugarte in front of them, and Alphonso Davies and Ben White. But because they haven't picked, in fact, 3 centre-backs, but because they've not picked up anyone else, they are struggling. This is Newcastle, Jan Sommer, Rami, Dunk, Pereira, Ornes, Horta, Toremi. I think that's a solid set of players you can get for free. But imagine, there are still players. We'll go have a look at where some of the biggest players are in a second, but they're down in 10th. Forest up in 8th. They've picked up quite a lot of players. No one really stands out there, but certainly, even when Nwaneri at 16 already, I mean, that's going to help them in years to come. Sheffield United 16th, struggling. They've pretty much picked up just those 3 players. Spurs we already looked at. They were up in 1st. West Ham as well, and you can see here we looked at West Ham in 6th. Wolves down in 19th, not picked up anyone. So let's go have a look at some of the non-Premier League teams. So let's go look at Real Madrid, for example. They are top of their league, and it's because they filled out a team. I mean, look at that. Real Madrid has basically picked up some of the best players in the world. If I sort them by the squad, Onana, Partey, Zuma. I mean, it's a bit of a controversial first couple, but Kyria Zinchenko, Calvin Phillips, Odegaard returning to Real Madrid, Marino, Musiala, Mbappe, Marcus Thuram. They got Pierre Kalulu, Lamar, Owen Windal, Goretzka, Sanchez, Nelson Reda, Rodri. Like, that's a really good team. I mean, Real Madrid are going to be a force to reckon with. If other teams don't start actually getting players, then it's weird that Real Madrid are willing to do it, but other teams aren't. Here's Sociedad. Not bad.
Good pass.
Barcelona, on the other hand, in 11th. They picked up a few players, certainly more than some of the Premier League teams. They picked up some all right players. Kai Havertz, Zaire Emery is a great youngster in there. Manyan. I mean, they've got 2 goalkeepers, so they should pick up, but they're going to struggle. Let's go have a look in Italy a little bit. So this is Juventus, and again, they haven't picked up anyone. So even though they had a head start by keeping Mkhitaryan as good or as bad as he is, he's never really developed into the player he should have been. Maleri, I mean, they have not done great, have they? That's all they've got. But AC Milan are first, and you can see why. Look at this. Kobel, Fresneda, Joe Gomez, Silva, Galan, Gavi, Camavinga, like Luis Diaz, Gabriel Jesus. It's a great team. I wonder how they've not fallen foul of the non-EU rules here, because they've picked up 4 non-EU players. So unless releasing all those other players freed up a load of slots. And this is Inter, they're a second again. Giroud, still going, but he's crossed the divide, Milan to Inter. There's a few players who do that. Alba, Naipan, great pickup, youngster. He should develop really well at Inter Milan. Napoli are 7th, which actually surprised me because they've only picked up 3 players. And Roma in 5th with no one. So, you know, it's not... It's still... I mean, there were only 3 games in, but Roma... And who have Roma played? Let's have a look. because they might not have played anyone. They played Fiorentina, who picked up a few players, and they played against Empoli, who they drew with, who have not picked up anyone either. And they played Frosinone, who probably haven't picked. Actually, Frosinone have a few players, but I don't imagine they're incredible. No, they're pretty average. In fact, they're worse. They're worse than probably the defaults. Let's have a look at a default player. Well, no, maybe not, but maybe worse than Roma's default players. Let's have a look at Roma's defaults. Yeah, maybe worse than Roma's default players, which is interesting. So, well, I reckon Roma will be struggling by the time we get to the end of even the end of the January window, which we'll go look at next. I'll just have a quick look at some of the other top teams. So we'll look at PSG. Second, they've actually built up a squad at Alisson, Di Lorenzo, Koundé, Ruben Diaz, Kimmich, Ward-Prowse, Valverde, Mahrez, Leao, Haaland up top, Acerbi, Casemiro, Kier. I mean, that's a good team. I'm amazed they're second. So who's top? Marseille are top. Oh, I mean, Marseille's team is also pretty solid. Not as good as that PSG team, but Karake, Dior, Oyarzabal, Pellegrini, Moreno, like it's solid. It should. They've picked up certainly enough players. It's interesting. So here, look, Lyon, 6th. They got Immobile, Riddle back. I mean, they should be all right. Jonas Hoffman, Breo, there's some good players in there. Bayern Munich are top. And they've only picked up 3 players, Kvara, DeMarco, and Unai Simon, which is really interesting. And Unai Simon says there's a lack of sufficient quality and depth in midfield, which is kind of funny. Yeah, that's kind of weird that they've managed to get top. They're still top. Who've they played? They played Mönchengladbach, who've picked up a few, but yeah, they haven't really picked up many players. I wonder if like the German leagues are going to struggle. Although Leverkusen have picked up some players. Let's go have a look at Dortmund. Yeah, Dortmund haven't picked up very many either. So the German teams don't seem to be picking up as many players. Let's go have a look at where some of the best players are. So I think we saw Mbappe, if I remember correct. He was at Real Madrid. So Mbappe's gone to Real Madrid. Let's look at Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi has gone. He's gone to Saudi Arabia, to Al Ittihad. So let's check where Ronaldo's gone then, because if they are swapping around, Cristiano Ronaldo retired. He just straight up retired. He decided he didn't want another club. So that was it. Did it actually say he retired? I guess it does. It doesn't say anything else. It doesn't say on this sheet. So I guess he just decided he was done. So Ronaldo's ended up retiring. Haaland we saw at PSG. Let's go. Do you know, I didn't see Jude Bellingham. So I wonder if Bellingham has a team. Jude Bellingham is still a free agent. So that could be a great pickup. In fact, so I've sorted them here by their ability in the game. I've hidden it off screen. So if any of you don't want to see what players' ability are, it's off screen, but or just skip forward if you don't want to see this, but you don't want to see how good players are. But Kevin De Bruyne, still clubless. Who else do we have? Bernardo Silva, still clubless. We have Salah went to Saudi. Harry Kane went to Saudi. Neymar is clubless. Vinicius, is he injured? I wonder if he's injured. He's not injured. Vinicius Jr. clubless. Courtois injured, but also clubless. Who else do we have? Van Dijk went to Saudi Arabia. We have Osimhen still clubless. De Ligt. I mean, some of these players could do a job. Phil Foden hasn't got a club. Varane, Stones, Sane. So yeah, there's some interesting ones there. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit in case anyone wants to spot any. Kyle Walker clubless, Thiago clubless. These guys are getting on in years though. Alvarez still without a club. Gundogan went to Saudi. Frankie. So I wonder if the Saudi is. Gee, let's have a look at Al Ittihad, because I'm curious if Saudi Arabia is. No, it's not. I thought Saudi Arabia was perhaps skewing it a little bit because of the crazy wages they can offer. Let's have a look. I mean, they're playing Chesney 775k a week. I know we've seen some crazy wages in Saudi in this game, but that's actually incredible. Let's see. All right, what are they paying Messi? If put it in the comment what you think they're paying Messi before I click on this screen. You might have seen it already. Let's have a look. 1.9 million a week to Lionel Messi. Wow. Do you reckon he's on the most? I wonder if I can see this. Yes, so Messi is on the most. All the top ones are all Saudi until we get to PSG down here with Haaland on 300k a week, which is actually pretty reasonable. So these Saudi wages are incredible. 1.5k for 1.5 million for Ederson, 1.5 million for Lewandowski, Harry Kane 1.2 mil, Salah 1.2 mil. These are mad. I mean, Modric at his age getting nearly $1 million a week at 38. Like, you can't blame him at that point, can you? You'd take it, wouldn't you? He's in retirement. He's in the retirement years, and he's going to get that. Right, we're going to go forward to January and see. Well, let's see if Jude Bellingham gets a club to start with, and see what they do at the end of the January transfer window, and sort of see how the season has been progressing. So this is the 31st of December, so the January transfer window is about to open. Burnley top of the Premier League because they went out and they got players, and it actually looks like a solid team. Although interestingly, the goalkeeper that they got, Newell, has been injured, so they're actually goalkeeperless at the minute. Have they put players into? They got 2 goalkeepers in under 21, so they might not be too bad. Although, what does ESC mean? I've never seen that before. The extra work permit place. Okay, he's actually not bad, so he probably does them a good job. Is he playing first team for them? I'm curious. Or are they playing the other guy? He's played 1 game. What about the other guy, Harrison? No, he's not bad either. They must be playing this guy, Nathaniel Knoll, unless one of the 18th. No, so I would assume they're playing that Knoll. So Burnley top of the Premier League. We have Manchester City in second. They look all right. Some players getting rests, but their team is solid, so no surprise they're second. Now let's go have a look down the bottom here. Everton are obviously dealing with the points deduction. Still only got Gabam in. I'm actually amazed they managed to pick up some points. They've got 3 wins and 17 losses. Who's the manager? Is Sean Dyche still there? No, Keith Southern is now the manager there. If they had, now I want to know how long before they sacked Dyche? He actually made it until December, which is kind of surprising, but I guess, it's not really his fault. Let's have a look. Wolves have not signed anyone yet. They must have sacked their manager as well, surely. Yet Gary O'Neill was sacked in December. Sheffield United, they've got a few, but not many players. Hickenbottom was sacked in December. Looks like they all left on the 16th of September. Arsenal now, Arteta is gone. Jack Wilshere is the manager of Arsenal. Is he an interim manager? He's not even interim. He's just the full-on manager. The 6th of December, Arteta was sacked, and not surprised because they picked up a couple of players, but not many. It's the same ones they had at the start of the season. So yeah, Jack Wilshere's got a job on his hands there. They're below Luton, who've got Rob Edwards still. We've got Villa. Emery's gone. Gareth Ainsworth is in. So Emery got sacked 17th of December. Man United, surely Eric Ten Hag's not still there. No, Travis Binnen is now the manager at Man United, and that was the 2nd of December. I wonder if there are any which are Chelsea. Go on, let's have a look at Chelsea. John Terry is the Chelsea manager. Oh dear, things have gone bad. Poch got sacked the 2nd of December. December is a harsh month, isn't it? Spurs, Angie's still at Spurs. Newcastle, Eddie Howe's still at Newcastle. So some of them have just about managed to cling on. Frank's still at Brentford. So there are a few still there. West Ham, surely David Moyes still at West Ham. They're up in the Europe spots. Yeah, they're doing all right. So that's how the Premier League looks. Brighton third, Burnley top. Burnley have only lost 1 game as well, by the way. They're doing incredible. Let's go have a look at, we can have a quick look at the Championship as well. This is the Championship. Rotherham, Huddersfield, Sunderland, Stoke as the top teams. Coventry struggling down the bottom there. Bristol, Plymouth. La Liga, Real Madrid, Atletico, Barcelona. Spain seems sorted. Real Madrid have a solid team. Now, Barca hadn't hired so many, but they're doing okay. And Atletico, let's have a look. We don't think we looked at Atletico before. They've picked up a great team there. They got some good players in there. Klosterman, Nori, Timo Werner, Guerrera. Guerrera's a great youngster, by the way, if you're looking for a youngster this year. So they seem to have picked... Is he not Atletico in real life? No, he's at Valencia. They seem to have picked up enough players that are going to, see them at least see out the season compared to someone like Almeria, who I imagine, they haven't picked up many. So Spanish football is sort of falling into place as you would expect. It's not quite as crazy as the Premier League. Ligue 1, again, it's sort of falling into place. PSG, Marseille, Lyon, Monaco, Lille. They're doing better than some of their counterparts in real life here. PSG looks like decent, so not much to report on in Ligue 1. The Bundesliga, now Frankfurt are top, Leipzig, Bayern, Leverkusen, Dortmund, and then Bayern are 5th. And I did say they might struggle unless they get some more signings in, and it looks like they are struggling. The signings they've got are good, but they're going to need better than that. Have they signed? Thomas Tuchel is still there, which is kind of interesting. In Serie A, we've got Milan, Inter, and then Lecce is a surprise package there. And you can see why. Luke de Jong, the D'Ambrosio, Danny Martin, they got some good players in there. Thiago Thomas, and they've got players, which makes a difference over those teams, which never went out and got any players. If we go look at near the bottom of the table here, Udinese, for example, no players. They're just running with the grayed out players still. Roma struggling mid-table. We thought they might struggle. Still no players. I'm actually surprised they're so high. But Atalanta, I mean, this is probably why the other teams also. So Serie A, no one is going to Serie A, and I wonder if the non-EU rules are screwing them a little bit here, that they can't pick up those non-EU players as easy. I'm surprised Salernitana aren't doing better. They have actually picked up a few players. AS Verona, no players. So yeah, you can see what's determining how well they do here. Let's look at Juventus. I mean, Juventus only picked up 2. They've only got Malaria and Mkhitaryan, who they got given. So it's kind of surprising they managed 12 wins. Who did they manage wins over? They beat Inter, which is surprising considering how many players Inter picked up. But like a lot of these teams have also had to rotate their players as well. I have also got Eredivisie. You can see Ajax at the top on that. And the Portuguese league is open as well. So Porto, Benfica, Braga, the regular ones you would expect. They haven't picked up loads of players though. Even Mbappe. Is it his brother? I think it is, right? Yeah, it is his brother. Is he any good? We might have to keep an eye on him. Right, so let's go forward to the end of the transfer window. Oh, wait, let's go see, because who has Jude Bellingham joined? No one. He's clubless still. Were these players still clubless? Yes. So De Bruyne is still clubless. Bernardo Silva is still clubless. Neymar is still clubless. Vinicius, Courtois. Wait, where is Bellingham on this list? Is he lower down? Osimhen, ter Stegen, Sane, Barrea, John Stones. Or is Bellingham? No, I don't. Bellingham should be around here. There he is, clubless. Saka, still clubless. He's wanted by Chelsea, Porto, Benfica, Sociedad, Real Madrid, and Altai. So yeah, interesting. Bruno Fernandes, clubless. So interesting. There's also some mad. I'm curious if anyone is starting to spend mad money. So we'll look at the end of the season. What people did in January, because it's a good opportunity to get some extra players in, and we'll see if Burnley keep it up and win the Premier League. So I'm here. End of the first season. I've just seen this here. AC Milan have completed an invincible season. So AC Milan, let's start with that. That seems interesting. You can wait on Burnley. 110 points, 36 wins and 2 draws for AC Milan. I did say when they picked up all those players, they'd assembled a good team. And like, especially as the other clubs hadn't really assembled good teams. Inter have picked up quite a few players. Now, who hadn't picked up many players? Juve hadn't picked up many players. Okay, Juve have built out a squad now, so they must have gone and got busy in January, so they picked up the likes of Isaac, Barrea and Kunku. So it's surprising actually that AC Milan was able to keep that momentum so much. Lecce doing really well. It looks like that gave them a little, they went up. Luca Digne came in, Coppola came in, Seamus Coleman wasn't there when we looked in December, so they picked up some extra players in January. They picked up quite a few there. Interesting. We can look at that look at Juventus. They had to go mad in January. Emi Martinez, Gabriel, Barrea, Isaac, and Kunku, Jorginho. I mean, they went and get some good players. They loaned Semedo from Real Madrid. There's 3 players out there, guys, You don't have to go loan players. So that's Serie A. Giroud, top goal scorer for Inter Milan. Yikes, with 26 goals. Gabriel Jesus, 24 for AC Milan. And Luis Diaz, the best player at AC Milan as well. So let's go have a look, see what else. I mean, is there anything else here interesting on the La Liga? 5-star Atletico triumph. They finished second. So let's go look at La Liga. Real Madrid won the league. Also an invincible season, 36-2, exactly the same as AC Milan. Atletico second, Barca third. Giovanni Simeone was the top goal scorer, which is kind of a left field choice. And Kai Havertz the second best scorer. So, actually, wait, why is Mbappe not? How many goals did Mbappe get? Mbappe only got 15 goals in the league, so he doesn't quite make the top 3. He's up there in terms of goal scorers, but beaten out by Simeone and Havertz. I guess because Real Madrid probably had other players scoring goals as well by the looks of it. They had Simeone. They had, in fact, no, he got 23 goals in total. It's 15 in the league. They had Musiala scoring goals. They've got quite a few goal scorers. Odegaard scoring goals as well. So La Liga sort of looks about where you'd expect it. Let's see if they picked up more players around January. Actually, but Barca didn't get anyone new in January. Real Madrid? No, Real Madrid decided not to go out in January. And Atletico Madrid picked up a couple in January, but no one big. Like Nathan Patterson's not gonna set La Liga on fire, is he? He got 15 appearances, but yeah. Okay, I think it's time we go look at the Premier League then. Burnley are Premier League champions. 3 losses all season. Forest, Bournemouth, and Villa, which is kind of surprising considering Villa barely had any players. They looks like they picked some players up in the end. Did they go wild in Jack Szoboszlai in there? Rico Henry, Marcus Rashford at Villa. So these all joined in January. Interesting. So Villa picked up a bit of pace. Now, where did Arsenal finish? Arsenal, Jack Wilshere's still the manager, and he made some signing. No, wait. He's just basically promoted the youth team. Are these all regens? These are all new gens. So he's going on an Arsenal youth project. I mean, that could work out long term, but short term, certainly not. And Fabianski back in there. Basuma. Let's go back. Actually, I hadn't even noticed Basuma crossing the Spurs Arsenal divide there, going the other way. So it looks like they sort of picked up Fabianski retiring. They're gonna have to pick up a new goalkeeper. They got Matt Macy. Do you know what? Matt Macy, he was at Luton. But he's actually gone back to Arsenal and they paid money for him. So the fact that he was starting at Luton didn't really matter too much anyway. Is Pepe retiring? I'm curious. Pepe is also retiring. Yeah, that's tough for Arsenal. Man City, Liverpool, Bournemouth also doing really well. Let's have a look at Bournemouth. Aaron Hickey, Wrench. I mean, probably on the basis they actually got players in. I mean, there's some good players in there. Chumani is probably bossing that midfield. Look at that rating on Chumani as well. A 7.58. 7.58 also on Adingra. Yeah, and Cavani getting 18 goals at his age. Is he retiring? Is Cavani? Cavani is not retiring. So they're going to have Cavani for another season. Badiashile down there as well. So they've got some good players. Did they make many transfers in January? Yeah, they got a couple in January. So Chumani came in January. Added Patino, Samed, and Josh Doig. Interesting. Manchester City got a couple in January. There's a couple in early Feb as well. So Trent came in. De Ligt. Bruno Fernandes is a Manchester City player. 100 to 300 million. But yeah, his physicals don't look like he's worth that. His physicals must have dropped off, I think, when he didn't have a team. Let's go have a look and see if there are still some clubless players. Looks like most players have picked up teams. So Kevin De Bruyne is one of them. He's ended up going to Saudi Arabia. Who else do we have on here that was clubless before? So Courtois is still clubless. Bellingham was the main one. I think he's got a club. He should be around here somewhere. Bellingham has gone to Chelsea. So Bellingham is a breakthrough prospect. He only got a breakthrough prospect contract on 16k a week. What the hell? Why is he only on 16k a week at Chelsea? Wait, I'm curious on their wages. Like, who is at Chelsea? Osman. I mean, that's an insult to Bellingham in a way, but he was probably clubless for the whole year. Yeah, he joined them in January. Interesting. They must be upgrading his contract soon. Where did Chelsea finish? 13th. Man United finished 12th. So did they pick up extra players? Man United didn't go get anyone new in January. They've got they're playing the youth players still. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea seemed to go out in January, get a couple more. They got Bellingham, Osimhen, Rafinha, and Benacer. I mean, those were probably the best players that were still remaining, other than Kevin De Bruyne. So that, I imagine, helped them out a little bit. It's interesting. Arsenal just about managed to avoid the drop there. Top goal scorer in the Premier League. Martinez at City, Taremi at Newcastle, and Alex Benea at Liverpool is an interesting one, coming in from, I think it's Villarreal. So interesting. Saka, the best average rating at Liverpool. He was actually a free transfer, so no one had picked up Saka until January, I don't think. So yeah, he's only played 16 games. Is that an average rating of a 7.94? He has a 7.94 average rating across all his appearances, which is kind of impressive. Porter, Rafinha. I mean, there's some interesting stuff in there. Let's go quickly look at some of the other leagues. So we have Ligue 1. I have to go back to the league table. PSG won it. Marseille, Monaco, Lyon. So that's maybe as expected. And the Bundesliga, looks like Leipzig won the Bundesliga, if I can get off the playoffs. Yep, Bayern ended up third, which they didn't get many players in, did they? They got a couple extra in January. Nelson Viper, is he not a Bayern player already? He's a Bayern player already. He went to Leeds on loan. And then they've re-signed Nelson Weeper then. Unai Simon, DeMarco, Kvara. So they picked up some extra one. Yeah, they got Nelson Weeper back, essentially. Jadon Sancho is at Bayern, went in January. Paris Bruna and Bastoni. Gabriel Martinelli as well, actually. So they picked up some all right players. No, it's maybe enough to squeeze them third there. So Leipzig win, Frankfurt second. Here is the Eredivisie, in case anyone's wondering. Ajax top, but Heracles Alamo is probably the biggest surprise there. Do they have anyone? I mean, they've got some good players in there. Mateus, they've got a lot of players as well. I'm amazed how many players they've managed to pick up. That's probably helped them a lot. In the Portuguese league as well, Porto, Benfica, Sporting are perhaps the notable ones, the non-surprise ones. Let's go have a look actually at the Continentals as well. So the Europa Conference League was won by Besiktas. They only have Kakir, he's the only player. Surprised they did so well there. They must have just got really lucky, I'd imagine. Although this is Tosin is there as vice captain. He's clubless. Have they just not replaced him? The Europa League was won by Olympiacos against Galatasaray. That would have been a feisty match. I Again, they've not picked up many players. Vladimir Kiarte. So I'm surprised that they managed to do that. I'm curious now, like the earlier stages, if there were, what teams there were. We have Ajax going out, Brighton. I mean, Brighton had some alright players, didn't they? Yeah, Brighton picked up players. I'm surprised. They haven't picked up that many. They picked up enough, though, to get 5th in the Premier League. Quarterfinals. I mean, I guess let's go have a look at the Champions League then. Atletico Madrid won. They beat AC Milan, the two teams that had fantastic seasons. Man City got knocked out. PSG. Let's have a look at the group stages here and see how teams did. So Marseille, Atletico. So Arsenal actually got through their group, which is kind of surprising. We have Inter, Sevilla, Real Madrid, Newcastle, Porto. So where did Newcastle get dumped out then? Let's have a look. Round of 16. Newcastle got dumped out by Inter. And you see City went through. PSG, Real Madrid. Where did Man United? What happened to Man United then? Go on. What happened to Manchester United? Did they do better than in real life? No. Yes, they did. They finished 3rd. So Man United, without any players, finished better than under Erik ten Hag in real life. They went into the Europa League. They must have got knocked out of the Europa League as well then. Who beat them in the Europa League? Let's go see if we can find Manchester United. Round of 16. What stage do they enter at? They entered the quarterfinal, right? No, the knockout playoff round here. They lost 6-3 to Ludogorets, who also don't have any players. That is pretty awful. Right. Well, on that note, I think what we have to do is go forward some seasons and see what happens. Now, I'm going to go forward one season initially, but then we might jump to 5 and 10 and see what happened in the time in between. All right, here we are, season 2. Allardyce agrees St Mary's Stadium departure. Goodbye. You know, I'm not going to cry about Southampton sacking Sam Allardyce. Oh, I wish they kept him, actually. It's kind of funny. All right, let's go have a look. Cartagena and Barnsley, an offer for Bellew. Fullback. Interesting that the two teams going for him are Cartagena and Barnsley. It's quite a difference in choices. Is that Cartagena, Colombia? Let's have a look. It's Cartagena in Spain, okay. But still, it's like a weird thing. Right, let's go have a look at the leagues. So, Premier League Season 2, and Manchester City are top dogs now. Burnley are second. Manchester United and Arsenal are back, as are Liverpool. So let's have a look at Manchester United first to see who they signed to make up for last season. So this was the end of last year. In fact, they did make a couple of signings at the end of the summer. No one big though. Finley Burns, Jason Still, and Nesri. Okay, they paid 65 million for him though, and Brahim Diarra. And then this season they brought in Brian. They're paying money for players, I guess, because a lot of players got picked up. Jaden Slory from Herenveen. I mean, they've probably just about picked up enough players to get them over the line. But it also surprises me that they've Aaron Ramsey in there as well. Oh, it's the Aston Villa Aaron Ramsey, Alphonso Davies. So they've probably just about built enough of a team now to get them that decent position. Let's go have a look also at Arsenal. Arsenal have actually been busy now and got themselves some players. Alanga, Fede de Jong, not Frankie de Jong, Fede de Jong. Selka. So they did they pick up some players at the end of the year as well? Yep. They picked up a few at the end of this year. Umar Saleh, Carl John from Oxford United. I mean, they've really adjusted their expectations a little bit. They haven't gone wild though. I'm surprised that they managed third and fourth with those. Let's have a look at Liverpool. See, Liverpool's team looks a lot better. They should be a lot higher than where they are, particularly after they picked up Saka late last season. And then this season, Gvardiol, they paid for Gvardiol 38 million. João Mario, they paid 50 million to Rangers. Vanderson, 37 million to Debo. So they spent a fair chunk of money and only to manage fifth. Burnley, still smashing it. I wonder who Burnley brought in. Fabian Rieder and Daryl Dike. Oh, Daryl Dike's not bad, actually. Let's look at Fabian Rieder. He's also pretty good. So no wonder they finished second. They managed to pick in some good players. Did they pick anyone up in the summer as well? Amio Amiyar. He's the only player. He's a good youngster, though. I don't know where he is in real life. I think he might be a Southampton player, if I remember correct. Let's have a look at Amio Amiyar. Yeah, he's a Southampton youngster. So they picked him up on a free. They picked up some players, extra players after that initial window as well. So Burnley could become a force to be reckoned with. West Ham up there as well. Picked up some decent players in there. Vitinha in there, and Pardew, Simicam. They didn't spend a lot of money this season, so it looks like they picked up some of the players that were still floating around. So, this is this season. They have spent a lot of money, 43 million on Vitinha. But like Karius for 1 million, not bad. Tony Lato for 3 million is all right. So, and Pardew for 8 million. Alfie Harrison on a free, Katengo on a free. So they've certainly strengthened. Let's go have a look then at Manchester City. I mean, that's an incredible team, isn't it? Raya, Arnold, De Ligt, Gueye, Botman, Sober, Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes, Wirtz, Jota. It's probably not as good as their real team, but compared to what we've seen in those other Premier League teams, Premier League seems to be struggling to get the players in, which is interesting. I wonder if the work permit rules or something are holding them back. So yeah, Millwall, Rotherham and Palace are the relegated teams. Down in the Championship, Middlesbrough, Reading and Sunderland are the teams that got. Everton, by the way, points deduction last season, way down in 18th. They've actually filled out their squad now. Some interesting players in there as well, considering they've filled out their squad down in the Championship. Chowdhury, who else? We've got Timothy Fosu-Mensah, but they did go a bit mad in the summer. 475k they spent. They picked up a couple at the tail end of last year as well. So they finally started getting some players. They only managed 18th in the Championship though. So teams are starting to fill out. Middlesbrough top. And yeah, they've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka is at Middlesbrough. Ansu Fati is at Middlesbrough in the Championship. He got a 7.46 in the 7.36 in the Championship. Alan St. Maximum is in the Championship. Wait, has he been there the whole time? He went to them in the Championship last year, and they didn't get promoted with him as well. I mean, that's also the incredible thing, that he didn't get promoted. Let's look at Reading. I'm curious who else is in the Championship now. Dan Lundu. I mean, it doesn't look. It's not quite the same impact as some of those players. Weird stuff. Let's go look at. Let's go look at who got Premier League. So Millwall, who would have got promoted last year, in their team, Patrick Bamford, Jack Grealish went to Millwall on a free. He must have joined at the end of the season. He must have been clubberless. So when they got promoted, he must have joined. Rabiot went to them on a free. When did Rabiot join them? So Rabiot would have been clubberless for a year as well. So it looks like they went out and picked up. They picked up Bamford. They picked up Rabiot. They picked up. All these players. There's some good youngsters in there as well. Last season, who did they grab last season that got them promoted? There's some all right players in there. Like Grealish was end of season. Interesting. Let's see, can we look at Rotherham? Who's in this Rotherham team? Okay, there's nothing really stand out there. There's some all right players, but nothing that looks incredible. Mateus Vecino, maybe. He is 33. Apparently he's off to Monterrey. Did they get him for free? Yeah, they got him for free. He must have been without a club for over a year. So let's go have a look at some of the other leagues. Serie A, AC Milan, but no longer completely unbeaten. So Juventus have started to pick up a load of players here. You can see Nkunku, Doku, Paqueta, Barea, Jorginho, Tsimikas, Gabriel. Some of these we saw they picked up tail end of last year. Some of them they picked up this year. Like Emi Martinez still available this year. They picked him up. Barea still available. They picked him up. Isaac. These were the ones they picked up in the January. And then this window, Keta Semedo they got on a free. Jeremy Doku actually was the top scorer last year, wasn't he, in the Premier League? They've paid 66 million to Spurs for him. Where did Spurs finish then? Spurs ended up finishing 12th because they sold him and they're playing this guy, Terem Moffi, instead. And Ronald, and they have been, that is their goalkeeper, Kent Radmore. Interesting to see how some of these youth players develop. So they're beginning extra play time that they wouldn't have normally got. So Juventus actually strengthened a little bit. Torino doing well, Inter doing well. Roma relegated. I said Roma were going to struggle unless they got players in. They have actually got players in by the looks of it, although a lot of them are youth players. They only spent 375k this season, 325k this season. Didn't get anyone in last year. Is anyone notable in these frees? Not really. There's not anyone incredible in there, and it's perhaps no wonder that they were relegated. They're pretty much playing their youth team. Atalanta equally, it's not Patson Daka in there, but it's not an incredible team. Patson Daka's down in the Championship in real life. So yeah, that's chaotic. Over in La Liga, top three dominated yet again. Yeah, this is probably not far off where you would expect La Liga to look. Maybe the only exceptions are Girona, who in real life are doing pretty well, and they've got a lot of financial backing, so maybe I would expect them to do better. They got some decent players in there: Guaita, Tielemans, Piatek. So I'm surprised they didn't do better. We've got League One or Ligue 1. PSG winning again. Yeah, nothing too surprising in League One or Ligue 1. Let's have a look at what PSG did. They didn't go out and spend loads of money. In fact, they picked up players from Roma, and they got Koulibaly in on a free. But yeah, they've not picked up anyone extra since January last year, really. And the Bundesliga has gone to Schalke this time. Wait, where are Bayern Munich? Am I being blind? Where are Bayern Munich? I'm being blind because I cannot. There they are, 8th. I was looking for them up here and I couldn't see them, but then I was like, wait, are they down here? Bayern Munich finished 8th. I mean, the team's okay. There's some good players in there. But Schalke have won. Leipzig are second. Let's look at this Schalke team then. Renault, Fofana, Demiral, Lindelof, Frimpong, Gosens, Tonali, Mitrovic, Adiemi, I mean, there's some young players in there as well. Gnabry, that's not bad. Schalke have done well there. Dortmund, Darmstadt have done well as well. They've finished. So Darmstadt have got Nicolas Süle, Robin Koch, Max Arnold, Kevin Müller. Some really good players in there. Yusuf Poulsen is there. Wow. So yeah, so German football is gone a bit chaotic. The Eredivisie, let's have a look. The Ajax win. Ajax won the Eredivisie still. Heracles and Vitesse still doing well. Twente relegated. And Portugal, Braga struggled way down, but Porto and Sporting top. We probably won't look at Portugal. Well, actually, maybe we'll look at Portugal again in the end. But what I will do is I'll put the save file down in the description. So if you want to go look at this, the 10-year save file, if you want to go look at how this looks after 10 years, go have a look down in the description, load it up in your game, and let me know what you find. There's some crazy stuff in here. If you see players have gone to rival clubs, you see players on crazy contracts and stuff like that, I want to know about it. So we're just going to look at the cup competition. So Champions League was, let's have a look. Real Madrid beat AC Milan in the final. I think these teams are going to be pretty dominant. And then you can see, wait, it keeps going to the round of 16. The semi-final, Inter Atletico, quarter-final. Yeah, Man City, Liverpool going out there. Galatasaray, Monaco. Not bad. So let's go down, have a look. The Europa League, Wolfsburg won the Europa League. And down in the Conference League, Lens beat Fulham. I wonder what Fulham's team is like. They finished 17th in the Premier League. Not bad. Luis Sinisterra, Kolosinic, Kera. Could be better, could be worse. James Milner, we saw there, still isn't retiring. Still going. Pontus Jansson. There's some interesting players in there. Okay, let's go forward to the 5th year. Have a look what it looks like in the 5th year. Okay, here we are, end of season 5, and let's see. We're going to see if Burnley is still up there. We're going to see if the English teams have recovered, the German teams have recovered, if Bayern has recovered. So let's start with the Premier League table. Well, we can see Man City is still dominant. Spurs are back up there. Man United are back. West Ham, Burnley is still up and around there. Champions League spot, 5 Champions League spots, by the way, for the UK. Liverpool, Newcastle. Where are Arsenal? Arsenal way down there. I mean, how many Europe spots does the UK get? They must be back in Europe. They must have won some European football to get themselves back up there. Interesting, the number of teams here that are sort of like Championship. Reading, Cardiff, Birmingham, Sunderland, Forest. Well, Forest Premier League right now. Huddersfield, Rotherham. It's interesting. Middlesbrough. It's interesting how many of them managed to get up and stay up somewhat in the division. Let's go back through the years and see who else won. Man City, Newcastle, West. So Burnley dropped off for a season and they've recovered. Season before that, we've seen Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Burnley. So where are Arsenal? Arsenal are way down in 8th again. So Arsenal really strong. They did manage 4th the season we looked at. And then since they've just been, they can't have Jack Wilshere still. Thomas Frank is now the Arsenal manager. They did have, Wilshere only lasted a year. Let's have a look at their squad. I mean, it's not bad. There's some decent players in there and some good youngsters. So we'll see how they might develop a little more in the next few years. City, let's have a look at City. I mean, the City's, look how many players they have as well. It looks pretty insane. Let's have a look at their transfer history. So they bought in Kalulu. They paid 108 million for Lavia from Burnley. I wonder if that's contributed to Burnley's downfall, losing players like Lavia. I wonder if Burnley have been absolutely to be fair, they spent 57 million on Anavic and Edson Alvarez, and they gave out 166 million for players like Patrick Wimmer. So 156. They spent 88 million on Tchouameni is at Burnley, and they spent 88 million on him. Tchouameni was one of those players we saw. Wait, was he at Bournemouth? We saw him at Bournemouth, and then he's gone to Burnley. Whoa, 88 million for him. Let's have a look. Mikel Dams. So they spent a bit of money, and they actually have been spending more than they've sold, which is kind of interesting. Luis Suarez still going. He went to Flamengo. He looks like he's retired now, but he was still going. Onana they bought in. He's the goalkeeper at Burnley. So, yeah, they spent a little bit of money. Let's see what Man City's spend is then. So Man City, they obviously bought in Lavia from Burnley. Jacob Kiwior from Real Madrid for 48 mil. If they had any big, they've not really getting any big sales. So lots of players in. Schlotterbeck, Roberto Sanchez, Declan Rice coming in from Altai. Is that a Saudi team, a Qatari team? That's a Saudi team. That's not one of the big ones though. So Declan Rice coming in on 250k a week. They have, who else do we have here? 115 million on Jude Bellingham from Chelsea. So Jude Bellingham, no one picked him up for ages in that first season. Finally, he goes to Chelsea, and then Man City decide to spend 115 million to pick him up. Did Chelsea reinvest that money? Emil Smith-Rowe, 30 million from Al Jazeera. Victor Roque, 38 million. Is there any big transfers in here? Let's sort them by fee size. 46 million for Diego Lainez. That was the first season. Oliveira, 45 mil. 55 mil for Savio. They're spending a lot of money on, like, not really big players, but, you know, decent players. They put this new gen, Bruno Felipe. Savio they paid nearly 70 million for. Is he not? I have a feeling he's... Where is he in real life? PSV. He might already be signed to Chelsea in real life. I might be confusing him with another player, but he might already be future arranged to Chelsea in real life. Inzaghi is the Chelsea manager. I wonder if Pep is still at Man City, actually. Let's have a look at managers. Yeah, Pep is still at Man City. Let's go have a look who's Man United manager. Gallardo. Who did they have in between? They had, Binnen. They sacked him. West Ham. David Moyes has got to be still. Eddie Howe is the West Ham manager. What did they do to Moyes? They sacked him. Wait, 2025. Where did West Ham finish in 2025 that they sacked him? Because I think they were doing well, right? 2025. West Ham finished 6th. 2026. They finished 9th. That's a bit harsh on David Moyes there, I think. But Eddie Howe must have got sacked from Newcastle at some point. Wait, does that Iraola is the manager? They had Conte as well for a year. Iraola has been sacked. Wait, are they They're managerless right now. That's why, yeah, job advert. I thought for a second Marcus Rashford was the manager, but he's not. Rashford and Kane are the best players. So Kane went to Saudi Arabia. So how much did they pay for Kane? They must have paid a fair amount. They paid, they got him on a free. Interesting. They paid 53 million to Villa for Rashford. They spent 185 million this season for Zito Luvembo. I don't know him, but he looks all right. Mickey van der Ven is a decent player. They got him from Saudi Arabia. Donnarumma on a free. Where did they get Donnarumma? So Donnarumma had gone to Saudi and left. I mean, the trouble with the Saudi ones is sometimes the wages are so high that the teams aren't willing to re-sign them, but no one's also willing to pay the wages that they want, right up until the point that they've already left the club. So the Saudi teams can't get money for them. And it creates a little bit of a weird thing. I've noticed that in this year's game quite a lot. So let's have a look at Liverpool as well. So Liverpool are also managerless. So what happened to Klopp? Klopp was sacked in 2026, and then Fonseca has just been sacked as well. So there is the Premier League. Chelsea struggling, Arsenal struggling. Let's go have a look at, we'll have a look very briefly at the Championship. Villa top of the Championship, Brentford, Palace, down at the bottom, Peterborough, Southampton relegated. Come on, that's what this save is for. That's what we like to see. Let's go have a look at the Premier League top goal scorers. Burak Kuru. This guy is a new gen. Oh, he looks good as well. He looks really good. I'm curious. Well, it doesn't matter because he's a new gen. Let's have a look at his potential ability. 173, and he's currently at 163 at 19. No, 164. Sorry. So he's going to be good. He's not going to be one of the best. He's going to be one of the best players in the game. He's not going to be the best, like the world class players, but he's certainly going to be up there. Vitinha and Saka at Liverpool, top players. Some good ratings. Kulusevski, Harvey Elliott, and Saka. Harvey Elliott doing the business at Burnley. So Spanish leagues, yeah, the top four are still the top four. Real Madrid probably still have amazing. Ancelotti's still there. Still got most of those players they picked up that first season. They've spent a little bit of money here and there on a couple of players, but for the most part, it looks like a lot of the same players. Kurt Zouma they sold to Saudi. They're selling a few players to Saudi Arabia. They bought in Kvara, 88 million from Bayern, and Fofana, 65 million from Schalke. We are going to have a look at the German leagues in a minute and see what has happened there. McAllister as well. Alexi McAllister went to Boca. So Alexi McAllister went to Argentina after being released from Brighton. That is a curious one. And then he ends up back at Real Madrid with 26 million. Interesting. En-Nesyri, they bought from Man United. 64 mil, 59 mil for Zaniolo from Chelsea. Yeah, curious transfers, some of these. 90 million they paid Spurs for Ramsdale as well. So this is Serie A, and you can see AC Milan. They won it every year. Pretty much, yeah. AC Milan are dominant. They have won it every year. Juventus are solid. Other than that first season, once they got their signings in, solidly second. Inter third and fourth the whole time as well. So yeah, see if anyone interesting was relegated. Anyone who we wouldn't expect, other than Roma. Wait, are Roma back? Roma aren't back. Where are Roma? Down in Serie B still. Have they got any players yet? Not really. I mean, they have a few, but wow. Belotti is there at 34. Yeah, Roma have really struggled with this, and I think they have to be the biggest casualty. Maybe Villa are up there as well. Villa and Roma are probably about level in real life, I'd imagine. Well, Villa are doing really well, and Roma are maybe underachieving, but They've got to be about equal. So yeah, Roma are a big casualty of this. Over in the Bundesliga, you can see Bayern top. So Leipzig, Schalke, and then Bayern finally top. They weren't top last season though. They finished second, but they're slowly getting there. You know, they're back. I mean, this is probably, other than Schalke making this big comeback. Wait, Schalke don't even start in the. I just realised. Wait, Schalke won the Bundesliga that second season. They got promoted from the second tier. So who did they pick up the first season in the second tier? That they picked up Karius, Trapp, Gross, Max. I mean, Gersons. That was in the Bundesliga 2, the Bundesliga 2, and then this so incredible that they've managed to keep that up and re-establish themselves as a top German team. Darmstadt have fallen away. We were looking at Darmstadt earlier on. They finished third or something earlier on. So therefore, Hamburg and Hoffenheim relegated. Yeah, interesting stuff over in the Bundesliga. Ligue 1, has it been anyone other than PSG? What do we think? And the answer is no. PSG first, Marseille second. Marseille, I mean, not this season, Marseille aren't second, but nothing too surprising in there, no. So PSG just dominating French football as normal. And Ajax in the Eredivisie, well, Feyenoord 1-1. Feyenoord snuck in. But again, yeah, Twente getting relegated again. So the same, not too crazy over in the Netherlands. And in Portugal, have Braga come back into it. Benfica, sorry. Was it Benfica? It was Benfica, wasn't it? Did I say Braga that second season? No, Benfica. Where did Benfica finish? They finished 14th, so Braga and Benfica were struggling. But both of them came back the third season. Look, second and third. And then Braga got relegated. Wait, so Braga went 12th, 3rd, 17th. Weird. Porto, Sporting, Benfica at the top right now, 5 seasons in. So yeah, Portugal's sort of looking about how you would expect it to. So the Europa League. Arsenal won it this season. Let's go back. We had Brighton beating Sporting. We had Chelsea beating Cagliari. We had Lens beating Fulham. I think we saw that one. Let's go up, have a look at the Europa. Sevilla won this season. Man United won one. Sevilla won the year before. Sevilla are the Europa League. Sevilla is the Europa League. Wolfsburg and Olympiacos. And then the Champions League. Man City won it. PSG beat Man City. PSG beat Milan. So PSG have actually won some now. Real Madrid beat Milan. And yeah, that's all of them. I mean, that, you know, PSG, we did look at that PSG team. Let's have a look at it now, actually. See what PSG is looking like. Because they got Haaland in. And I'd imagine that they've still got a pretty good team. Alisson, Reece James, Ruben Diaz, Scalvini, Gomez, Kimmich, Svojkest. Actually, this guy is a new gen. If you don't know, this is Sass, who does the Sass skin. So his new gen. They say that, so there's a thing you can do. It's called Facing the Game. You type it in the top here, you'll get all the new gens that are, here you go, you can see them all. The new gens that are put into the game. Every time I've seen Sass's player, he's always incredible. He was incredible in the Southampton save. We signed him. They say that these players aren't given good attributes, but I'm suspicious, or maybe not. I mean, I'm looking at Mike Butler now, and maybe it's not true. But whenever I see Michael Svojkest, go have a look at him in your save. I'm curious how good he is in your save. He does the incredible Sass skin, which actually sometimes I'm running it. I'm not running it right now, but sometimes I have it running. So yeah, go have a look at him. Who else do we have here? So we have Valverde, Yamal, Chiesa, Haaland. It's a good team. Kunde on the even some of the players on the bench there. Right, I think that calls for 10 years. So this is it, 10 years in. 5th of June, so we're just at the end of the 10th season. Let's start with Serie A. Yeremy Pino has won the best player at AC Milan. Are AC Milan the champions? They are. I can see it already, but I don't know how to get to it. Here we go. Why is it not giving me the table? It's glitching out a little bit. AC Milan, now have they won every single one? Yes. Third? Yes. So they missed out 1 year. They almost matching Juventus's dominance recently in real life. Anyone relegated? Oh, Palermo relegated there. Roma are back, by the way. Roma have returned in 2030. They're back. Have they actually got some players now? Have I got a couple of players? No one incredible, but I mean, imagine at this point we're starting to see a lot of new gens. Roma qualify for Europe. I mean, look how many Champions League places they get in Italy now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Champions League places in Italy. We'll have to check the other divisions, see if they also get quite a lot. That does go back down to 4 though. So I'm curious what happened this season that allowed for the extra 2. They only have 4 that season. So I reckon in 2031-32, we have 2 European winners from Serie A. Roma qualifying again. So Roma are back. AC Milan are top. Let's go have a look at their transfer history, see if there's anything surprising. Who is Joris Chotard? Why are they selling him? He's not bad. 45 million for him. 527 million they spent last season. Who did they spend that on? 96 million on Ant Crichton, this regen from Newcastle. Okay, a weird one. Tony Benoit, another regen, French one. He's quick. João Sousa. They've just spent loads of money on new gens. I keep calling them regens, new gens. Paul Ocon. Okay, he looks all right. Who does he play for in real life? He's at Benfica, I think, or Dienz. Benfica, I guess. So he went to the second tier of Belgian football in my save on a free, unless that's a real life one. I don't think it is. And then he ended up at Toulouse. Brighton paid 46 million for him, and then Milan paid 58 million for him. Yukumba Minte. He's a quick Gambian player. He's not bad. He went to Newcastle? No, we released him. So he was at Montpellier. He's in Newcastle in real life. Montpellier, and then AC Milan paid a load of money for him. So they spent a lot of money, AC Milan. They didn't spend as much. A lot of outgoings that year before as well. 200k. There's a lot of money going in and out of AC Milan. This is that Chotard, Joris Chotard, that they paid 55 million for. Oh, interesting. He's at Inter now. So Inter have just paid 45 million for him. So he was at AC for 55. Let's go do Premier League. Manchester City are the champions. Have they been knocked off their perch any season? Newcastle, Arsenal, West Ham. West Ham have really, done well at this, as have Burnley. Some teams have struggled out of this. Chelsea have never really recovered. But Arsenal recovered. Let's have a look. Where are Burnley in that one? Down in 10th. 5th for Burnley. Man City are winning every single season. Burnley are still qualifying for Europe most seasons. Arsenal seems to be qualifying via the cups or something, so they're still getting in there, even though they finished really low down in the league. I'm assuming, look, they've qualified. They've sacked the manager again. They must be through a few now. Yeah, Thomas Frank got sacked. And then Abelardo is their new manager, who I'm not familiar with. Who is Abelardo? Where is he managing in real life? Looks like he is Real Sporting, maybe? Real Sporting, perhaps. Looking at the teams that were relegated, nothing too crazy. Villa went down again. But yeah, is there anyone here who we wouldn't expect to be up here? Not necessarily. Middlesbrough stayed on the whole time, as did Huddersfield and Birmingham. But yeah, that looks pretty fun. Let's go down to the Championship and have a look at the league table. Everton finally coming back up by the looks of it in 2033. So they must have spent 5 years down in the Championship. Southampton make it back to the Championship. Luton coming back to the Premier League as well. Let's have a look. So Everton just missed out. They missed out on the playoffs there. Leicester got relegated, by the way. Leicester are down in League One. Who else do we have? Everton are missing out through the playoffs every season by the looks of it. Yep, missed out on via the playoffs. So it looks like once they were relegated, they really struggled to get back. Yeah, so that's the Championship. Now, La Liga. Is it Real Madrid through and through? Oh, Barca 1-1. Atletico 1-1. So it does rotate a little bit, but yeah, look, the top three, Barca, Atletico, Real Madrid. For the most part, Sevilla crop in once, as did Valencia, I think I saw. But it looks like it's Real Madrid most of the time. Let's have a look at their team. These are a lot of the players they picked up right at the start or that first season or two, and it still looks incredible. If they spent a lot of money, they spent 71 million on Pape Sarr. But other than that, I don't see lots of 83 million for Vignato. They haven't made loads of transfers, but last season they didn't make any. They made 5 million. That was it. Free on Ferran Torres and loan fees for these two. Free for Ferran. Ferran Torres was back at City, was he? So Ferran Torres went back to Man City, and then loans to Inter, loan to AC Milan, back to Man City, and then to Real Madrid. This guy doesn't care about club loyalty at all. He'll be at Manchester United next. Barcelona and Real Madrid, Inter and AC Milan. Like he's just crossing the divide. Look at this guy's name, Rome Jadon Osuaduro. Who is he? Where is he from? Is he a Chelsea player? No, he's a young ex-player, AZ player. Sorry, 48 million. Real Madrid ended up paying for him. Not bad. Bundesliga. Is it Bayern back in the Bundesliga? Looks like Bayern are back on top of the Bundesliga. Yeah, Bayern re-established dominance. Dortmund win one. Ulm win one. Interesting. But beyond that, it looks like it's all Bayern. Heidenheim doing okay there this season. Lots of Champions League spaces again in Germany this year. Ligue 1 is all PSG all the way through. Nothing too surprising there. No one getting relegated who you would surprise you either. And in the Eredivisie, Feyenoord win. Ajax third, but Ajax are winning most of them. Yeah, in fact, only 2 seasons do Ajax not win, and they're both Feyenoord wins. They only finished third this year. Heracles have really done well out of this. Yeah, that's the Eredivisie. And in Portugal, Porto, Benfica, Sporting still there at the top. Braga came back. They got relegated and then they came back and they're back up near the top again here. So yeah, where are Braga now? No, 13th this season. Real yo-yo club. But the top 3 looks like they were re-established as the regular top 3. Just looking at the top scorers, they're all new gens now in the Premier League. Top average rating though, Alphonso Davies at Man United, and Datro Fofana at Newcastle. Interesting. So yeah, that's been a chaotic season. Oh, we got to check on these. So it looks like England lost some Champions League spaces. No, maybe. Wait, no, because Spurs have qualified for the Champions League. What is going on? Right, we've got to go check the Champions League now. We've got to go check Europe. So let's start with the Conference League. Wolfsburg winning it again. Hertha winning it. Arsenal winning it. Chelsea won it. Stuttgart won it. Arsenal won it. Was that when did we have loads of German teams? Or did I? Yeah, so German. So that's where the German ones come in there. Let's go up to the Europa League. Spurs. Okay, so Spurs have won the Europa League. That's how they've qualified for the Champions League. And then we've got Napoli, Chelsea, Sevilla, Arsenal. So Arsenal and Chelsea doing well. Sevilla again. So yeah, like I said, Sevilla doing well. And then the Champions League this year: Inter 3, Man City 2, PSG 2, Man City 1. PSG beating Man City on penalties. Man City are pretty unfortunate here. PSG beating Barca. Barca beating PSG. Man City beating Real Madrid. See, PSG, Man City, PSG, Milan, Real Madrid, Milan. It's the same 5 teams who've really benefited from this. AC Milan, PSG, Man City, Barca to some extent as well. Inter Milan haven't done too bad, but those are they've got the finances to do it. Weird. Let's go have a quick look at the players, see where some of them are. Let's have a look at the top players. So Musiala is the top player right now. Haaland at PSG still. Yamal at PSG. Umut Kok. This is a regen or a new gen. Sorry. He doesn't look too bad, but apparently he's one of the better players right now at AC Milan. Bukayo Saka at Liverpool. Moise Caicedo, who ended up at Newcastle, by the way. He went to Galatasaray and Newcastle ended up buying him. And Moukoko ended up at PSG after Man City. Hiroku Sato. He's a Japanese new gen with 20 finishing, decent acceleration, pace, stamina, 19 off the ball, good work rate, good technique. Everyone kills for a new gen like that. And Crichton at AC Milan we looked at earlier. He's another new gen. He looks really good. Willy Saliba at Liverpool, doing well. Okay, let's look at the wages. Let's see if there are some crazy wages. Reece James is the best paid player at Al Ittihad on 1.6. I wonder if he's actually playing or if he's injured. 1.6 million a week. They've just bought him, in fact, 55 million from PSG. So he went into PSG, then Saudi Arabia. Yeah, all the top ones are Saudi Arabia. Jude Bellingham is the best paid non-Saudi Arabia player at Manchester City when they bought him off Chelsea. So, and he's on 700k a week. We've got Musiala on 625 at Real Madrid and Moukoko on 600. But other than that, they're in Saudi Arabia. Valverde is 34 on $1 million a week. We've got Frimpong, he's 32 on 1.1 mil a week. Nicholas Jackson on 850k a week. I mean, these are like Mark Guay, for example. Yeah, look, 750k a week in Saudi Arabia. I mean, these are not incredible footballers. They're okay, but Onana, how much is Onana? He's emergency backup on 600k a week. Emergency backup on 600k a week. Wait, was it Bellingham? It was Bellingham, wasn't it? Bellingham was at Chelsea on a development contract. I should have gone back and looked at what he was being paid when he was at Chelsea after a season or two. But yeah, that's crazy. Really weird stuff there. Like I said, this will be down in the description, this whole file. Go find some weird stuff in it. Run it for longer if you like. Run it for 10, 20 years. Obviously, it's going to be new gens by that point, so it's not going to make too much difference. But you want to see where Burnley stay? If they stay as one of the top teams, yeah, keep an eye on it. So that was, I think I said this a few times, chaotic. And certainly the first season, I didn't expect it to go how it did. I didn't expect Burnley to do so well. I didn't expect some of the dominances we saw, some of the relegations we saw. So it's not what I thought would happen. Got another experiment like this coming soon. I've got to make some minor tweaks to it and it'll be out hopefully in the next couple of days. I want to put more of these out over the Christmas period. So make sure you're subscribed to this playlist here, which has all these kind of crazy things. I did a crazy one last week where I gave every player their max potential. If you've not seen that yet, make sure you go check that out. Actually, it's going to be a play. It's going to be a video. It's going to be that video right there. It's here. Go watch it. It's great. Weird stuff happens in that one too. And I'll see you guys next time.